Hey y'all, DT Neil coming at you with things related to storytelling, genre, science fiction, fantasy, horror, animation, superheroes, etc., etc. One thing I was going to talk about a little bit is cyberpunk. Uh, that was for me a hugely influential genre. I was in my late teens, 17, 18. I devoured William Gibson's Sprawl trilogy and was blown away by it. I was really hit by it. I was like, man, this is awesome. And I think a lot of people were at the time. A lot of people were hit by it. And cyberpunk is interesting because it had a big impact in much like punk. It had a great impact for a moment, and then it kind of was quickly digested by the system, by society, and went away. People didn't really perhaps know what to do with it, even though so many of the ideas, and this is to its credit and to its perhaps detriment, cyberpunk, a lot of stuff that it foresaw became everyday functioning for people. It's incredible to me that William Gibson envisioned cyberspace. The whole idea of like the internet and all that. Cyberspace, virtual reality, that flowed so much through Gibson's work. And there were others too, Bruce Sterling and a variety of others. But 3 years ago, I wrote, and one thing I gotta say before I go into that, I normally don't talk about works in progress that I have. I'm a firm believer in kind of keeping the steam in the boiler and not talking about it. If I were to give any advice to somebody who's writing aspirationally, don't tell people about your story. You might have one or two lines. You might say, "Oh, I'm working on this." Leave it at that. Keep all that steam where you need it and put it in the creation process. Really can apply to anybody who does creative work. Like, don't talk about it. Just do it. Do it. Let the work be created, and then move on to the next piece. Don't talk about it, because you will let the steam out, and the joy and excitement of the creative process can get diminished if you just nattered on about it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to mention 3 years ago I wrote this book's entitled SIGHTSEER. And it's willfully a cyberpunk story. And it was me looking back with fondness on cyberpunk and wanting to write a cyberpunk story with the idea. And I wasn't even thinking of things like, honestly, I wasn't thinking of the Cyberpunk 2077 game, any of that. It didn't even occur to me that, and now in retrospect, I think, oh, that's kind of great, because people who have never read any cyberpunk are experiencing it through the game, and so it's more relevant to them. And so I wrote it 3 years ago, and I shelved it because I was working on other things that were eating up more time and attention, and I just let it marinate, which I sometimes do. I do that with work. I will let it sit. And this year, really it was this year, so many things were going on. I was like, I need to get SIGHTSEER out there. And it's part of a trilogy that I have in mind. I'm going to write the other two books on it this year. Highly motivated, really, because of the way our world is going. But I wanted to capture that fun of cyberpunk, what I enjoyed about it personally, and put that into a story. So that story, SIGHTSEER, book one, that comes out in month of May. So if you're at all interested in cyberpunk, and if you've read any of my other work and you're interested in that, check it out. I heartily, like I said, it's not coming out till May, so it's not imminent. Although it is kind of, from my perspective, it is coming out soon. But there is a wonderful thing about cyberpunk. Certainly there are tropes inherent in it, and I'm not even going to go into like mirror shades and trench coats and other neon and chrome and all that. That's all there. embedded in that genre. But I feel like it's important to go back to cyberpunk because don't forget that the original cyberpunk came out in the early to mid 80s, 1980s, and is reflective of that time. That's a long time ago now. And so I think for those of us who are alive now, who remembered it, who enjoyed it, and who love it, there's an opportunity to revisit that genre meaningfully and, in a way, update it a little bit. There are still things way futuristic in cyberpunk that we aren't even here. It's not even like present in our current day-to-day existence. But there are a lot of things that got assimilated into ordinary mainstream society, and people don't even think about it. So the world that we're facing with these rising autocracies, both at home and abroad, the absolute expansion, the ballooning of mega corporations, multinationals, corporate wealth, all of that, the consumer society gobbling things up. There are a lot of things, what it means to be an individual, a human being anymore. What does that mean? Those themes that cyberpunk rattled the cage with back in the day are even more apparent and prevalent now. And so for me, looking at SIGHTSEER, I was like, it's like time for that book to live. And like I said, it's part of a 3-book series, also known as a trilogy. But it's actually, in my intention, there's probably going to be more than just 3 books. But for now, 3. And I'm excited by it. I think there's a lot there for folks. There's still a lot of stuff to be mined in cyberpunk. And I think for people, there'll be good things. Ideally, people can take some of that and go forward in impactful ways. And so anyway, I'm just mentioning it. Be on the lookout. I'll talk about it once it comes out for sure. But SIGHTSEER, month of May, Cyberpunk.